TaxAct understands you haven't memorized the tax code. That's why TaxAct has live experts to help. TaxAct can even do it for you if you prefer. It's the easiest way to know you're doing it right. Well, other than going back to college and obtaining a bachelor's degree in accounting with a minor in finance, then interning somewhere and becoming fluent in all tax forms. But that might be hard to accomplish before tax day. So maybe just stick with TaxAct. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
My next guest, my dear friend, the Hall of Famer from WFAN and contributor here, but I'm at the point, Joe Benigno, nothing I can do. I'm sorry.
Sid, believe me, I get it. I mean, I'm not going to kill you for it. I can't kill you for it. As a Met fan, first of all, this team stinks. Let's start with that before we get into all the other stuff.
You know, they do say they're 7-10. They've lost 6 straight. But I want to remind people, since Mr. and Mrs. Met, which I made a big deal of and got 2 million hits on Twitter, hugged Mamdani at the stadium, the Mets have not won a game. They're 0-5.
Well, they've lost 6 in a row now. They got beat again. They got shut out by the Dodgers last night. They got 3 hits in the game. They've gotten shut out in 3 of the last 4 games that they've lost. They stink. Their team, the guts of this baseball team, one is playing in Baltimore. One is playing.
By the way, he's not playing well. He's off to a terrible start, Alonso.
Okay, that's fine. I don't put stock in that. I don't believe that would be the case if he was here.
Right.
And one is playing in Oakland. And by the way, he killed the Mets in the series over the weekend. And I'm talking about Jeff McNeil. Not to mention Diaz in L.A.
By the way, you left out the one guy that's playing the best of all of them, Brandon Nimmo in Texas.
Well, I did. I said one is playing in Texas.
Yeah.
I said that.
Okay.
One is Baltimore, one Texas, one Oakland, and the other one is Diaz in L.A.
Right.
No, I know Nimmo's been great. Who would we rather have, Met fans, Nimmo or Simeon? Is there really even a discussion about that? Look, it's very difficult, Sid, to be a Met fan right now, and not because of what's happening so much on the field, but because of everything that you said. And as a guy like me, and you know I'm conservative, you know I'm a big Donald Trump guy, no question about that. You know how I feel about the big guy, as I call him, Big Don? It's tough because I agree with everything you're saying there. I agree with Lindor. I think one of the reasons that Francisco Lindor, through 17 games, does not have an RBI. Can you believe that, Sid? He doesn't have an RBI. 17 games, making $34 million a year. Okay, all right. And I think it's because of the fact that there's a situation because of his wife with Mandami.
No, he ruined the team. Not just not an RBI. The guy's hitting 176. If he was getting on base and making things happen, he's doing nothing out there. Nothing.
He's doing nothing, and not to mention the mental errors, Sid. How many times have we seen it? We've seen it a couple times this year on potential double play balls where either he didn't realize how many outs there were or he didn't cover second base on a double play ball. What's going on with this guy? Something's wrong. Okay? And it's not just Soto not being there. I understand the injury to Soto, and obviously that's a hit and all of that, big hit and all of that. But this lineup, even with Soto, stinks. So as a guy who is a big Donald Trump guy as I am, and a lifelong, since day one Met fan, 1962, it's very hard to deal with it because of everything that you said. I have to tell you, I'll always be a Met fan. I'll root for the uniform for forever. That I'm too emotionally invested in this team over how many years it is now. But it is very, very difficult, I have to say, and it's not just because the team's not any good, and because three homegrown Mets who were very good Mets were let go, and probably because of the reasons that you said.
It is extremely disappointing, and like I said yesterday, if people can convert like Ivanka Trump did from Christianity to Judaism, that's a real conversion right there. I can certainly switch baseball teams. Not all that important.
By the way, Sid, do you want me to get do you want me to send you like a Mickey Mantle jersey, or who do you want?
No, listen.
Maggio, what do you want? Who do you want?
It's funny you say that because Randy Levine is sending a box to my house today, and it's not just Derek Jeter and Aaron Judge. It's a whole bunch of Yankee stuff. So the Yankees are like serious. They're like rolling out the red carpet. Randy's very, very excited. I can get anything from Ruth to Berra to Mantle to DiMaggio, whatever the hell I want. And, of course, they've got that great history. I forgot, too, Joe. You brought this up to me over the weekend. Great job out of you, maybe Terry, too. The Pride Night situation with the Mets.
The what situation? I'm sorry, what you said.
The Pride flag?
Oh, yeah. And look, I don't want to get crazy about it, but just look at what the Mets record is since that night, Sid. Look at it. Go see what that was when, if you want to put a certain moment when things really went the other way for the Mets last year, it starts on that night.
Well, what exactly, for folks that don't follow it as closely as you do, even me, I'm not even completely aware. Remember, what exactly was the controversy that night?
Well, there was really no controversy. I don't think there was any controversy. Well, I don't think there was any controversy about it. It's just that, they had, it's June is Pride Month. They had the Pride Night, night. Okay, fine. I mean, whether you agree with that or not, it doesn't really matter.
I don't agree with it. I think it's perverse at this point to have full months.
Whether you agree with it or not,
but I don't agree. I wouldn't have Israel Month, okay? Wouldn't have Hebrew Month, let alone Gay Month and Women Month and Black Month. And let's stop that nonsense.
Right. But anyway, my point is that since that night, they have been completely in the tank.
We'll see. I don't think I'm going to be the only one to do this. In fact, I'm thinking myself right now as Paul Revere. I'm starting a whole revolution.
You really are. I can't, bro. You are like everywhere anymore. I mean, every time I look at you now, you're every day, my wife every day, because, I'm technologically illiterate, bro. I still have a flip phone. I got a phone from like the 1860s, you know what I mean?
I know, because every time I send you a text, you remind me to text Terry at her 201 exchange.
Right, so I can actually see the actual picture and the actual video and all of that. Every day, there's something new from Sid. I mean, it's just, you're killing Mandami every day, and obviously, rightfully so, right? You've been killing Mr. Met. You're going to have Mr. Met on the show? Yeah, Daryl on. My old-time favorite. By the way, Darryl Strawberry is my old-time favorite.
I know he is. And I will see Mr. Met because I am invited by my dear friend Bill O'Reilly. He takes me to about 5 or 6 Met games a year.
O'Reilly's a Met fan?
Die-hard Met fan. In fact,
really?
And I go to about 5 or 6 games a year with Bill, and that's the only time I get a chance to see Steve Cohen because when Bill's in the stadium, Stevie comes over, and he's very nice to me. He says hello. Right. He couldn't care less. He doesn't even know who I am. Maybe he does, but at any rate, we go to about 5 or 6 games a year.
Wait, that's it.
Yeah.
Who the hell doesn't know who you are?
Yeah, I guess. But so Bill takes me, and Bill is taking me May the 15th to Queens, when ironically the Mets play the Yankees. The question is, do I show up at Shea or Citi Field, whatever the hell they call it now?
Citi Field.
Wearing my Trent Grisham jersey.
Trent Grisham? Come on, you got to give me better. At least Judge.
All right, I'll wear Judge. I'm getting. That's fine. But if I really want to stick it in the Mets' ass, I got to put like Trent Grisham or Caballeros or somebody like that.
Here's the jersey you wear. You wear a Med Rosario jersey because he was a former Met.
That's right. He had 2 home runs in one game last week, right. Rosario.
That's perfect. That's exactly.
Before I let you run, God, I love you, Joe. I love you. Give me the Knicks. They're taking on the Hawks. Game 1 this Saturday. They had the 3 seed. The Hawks end up the 6 seed. We thought it would be Knicks Raptors. It's not. Knicks Atlanta. What do you see in this series? If you have the Knicks winning this series, how far do you have this 3 seed going in the Eastern Conference playoffs?
By the way, before you even say that, I just saw a poll that was conducted of 146 NBA players, bro, right? Asking them who would win the NBA championship. Not one picked the Knicks. I just want to point that out. Not one. 146.
Is that right? Because
you had people. No way. You had guys picking the Hawks to win.
Oh God. But for what it's worth, I did see my old buddy Brian Windhorst, who was really funny. When I was down in Miami, became good friends.
Right.
He's Ohio guy. He likes the Knicks. He thinks they got a shot. I don't. But what do you think?
They're not. Here's the bottom line. I've said this all along on the Knicks. They'll win the first round. They would have been better off playing the Raptors, who they've beaten 13 straight times. But they'll get by the Hawks. It'll be a much tougher series, but they'll win the first round. After that, to me, it's a complete crapshoot. They'll play Boston in the second round, and the Celtics are going to be loaded for bear to try to after what happened last year in the playoffs. That the Knicks beat them 3 out of 4 during the season this year. But remember, last year the Celtics beat them 4 straight times, and then the Knicks won in the playoffs. So I say this. They could get to the finals. I don't see them winning a title. Look, they haven't won a title since 1973. Why do I think they're winning now, Sid? You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. I agree.
You know what I'm saying,
I know. It's ridiculous.
History tells me they will not win a championship, but they'll win the first round. And then after that, all bets are off.
All right, so we'll get to the NFL draft with you next week as your Jets get ready. You've got Geno back at quarterback. Congratulations. Yeah. What a mess that is.
By the way, let me just tell you quickly, you mentioned Geno. I think you're going to be surprised. Geno's going to be better than you think. I really do.
Well, he's going to be better than Zach Wilson and the rest of these bums. Better than Justin Fields.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, of course.
Right, of course. So I agree with that.
Right. You can actually throw the ball.
Yeah.
You know?